I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly me. Well, I've got an email here from a viewer, and he's struggling with some social anxiety and agoraphobia, I think it is, which is social anxiety type of disorder. And so before we get into it, he's got a good email that he wrote about some different challenges that he's personally dealing with. So I got a quote I'd like to share with you before we get into his email. And it says, "Everyone has the potential to become great at things they presently suck at or only dream about. In order to capitalize upon your magnificent divine potential, you must take action. When you take action, you will get results, good, bad, and indifferent. Your results will shape your beliefs and certainty about yourself and your capabilities. The more certain you become, the more you will perceive your infinite potential. This in turn makes you more certain, comfortable, and willing to take even more action upon your potential that gives you more results. Over time, your momentum snowballs, giving you ever-increasing amounts of certainty in your beliefs and your capability. This is how you become fearless and unstoppable." So in essence, when you take action upon your potential of what you're capable of becoming, your action that you take gives you results. Some good, some bad, some just kind of so-so. But at the end of the day, when you get results, and you get good results that reinforce that the action you took was the right course of action to take, this makes you more certain of your outcome. And the more certain you are of your outcome, the more this reinforces your beliefs. It's just like the things that I teach. I say all the time, you can think I'm a total jackass and not believe a word I say. If you just apply the things that I teach, you will see that it works. Like when it comes to dating, if you've ever watched the show The Bachelorette, where you got a woman and there's like 10, 15, 20 different dudes that are all vying for her attention to ultimately, by the end of the last show or the episode, be the one that marries her. Well, the cool thing is that you can apply this wisdom that I teach, and you can watch this show, and you can watch the very first episode and watch how each one of these guys behaves on these particular dating shows. And you can pick out who's going to be the most likely winner and pretty much always be right just by watching how the guy interacts with the woman, what he says, what he does, and what her body language and what her physiology is. It's really cool. Maybe there's a way you can actually wager on that and make some money. So let's go ahead and get into this guy's email. He says, "Hey Corey, you've got a really excellent business and thank you so much for the work that you do." You're welcome. He says, "Everywhere I go, I always get gorgeous, beautiful women interested in me, but I never did anything. I'm afraid. Not of the women in particular, but everyone in general. I fear persecution and judgment, though not rejection specifically." Well, that I would have to say that more than likely that's a result of the environment that you grew up in. Like in my environment, the house that I grew up in, my mom and dad did the best they could, but at the end of the day, they were fucked up. And so was pretty much my family on both sides. There was no hugging, there was no hand holding, there were no kisses, there were no I love yous, there was no I'm proud of you. There was just either physical getting the shit kicked out of us when we did something wrong, or we mostly got ignored. And like for me personally, when I grew up, I was like by the time I got into my early 20s and my late teenage years, like when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I felt unloved and I felt unlovable. And what I ended up doing is I went into jobs like tending bar or waiting tables. Like when I was 18 to 21, I worked for a company called Service Merchandise. And so I worked in customer service. So I got very used to interacting with people. And my parents did have a business that did real well, like in middle school and high school before they ended up selling it. And so on the weekends and during the summer when I was out of school, I used to go work with my parents. So I got a lot of interaction with other customers, and that was beneficial because it helped me overcome my fears of talking to other people or feeling insecure about myself. Plus it built my confidence in that I was able to interact with other people, men and women, successfully. And one of the best ways to overcome your fear of other people is to go into some kind of customer service type of business where you interact with a lot of other people, whether it's waiting tables or tending bar. That can definitely help you build your social skills because you have to talk to other people, ask them for their order, ask them how they're doing. It's amazing when you're a bartender, people just normally come in, they want to tell you about all their problems, their relationship problems, their marriage problems, their life problems, and you got to sit there and listen kind of like with a smile and give them advice from time to time, or because obviously some of them are going to ask you for your opinion. So if you're a shy person and you're young and starting out like this particular guy happens to be, that going into a customer service type of business where you have to interact with a lot of people, that can really help you overcome the fears that you have. He says, I suffered from agoraphobia and social anxiety disorder, and I alleviated them to the point that my only problem is starting and interacting with people. He says, my family situation was similar to yours, and my friends weren't good to me, but I left them a long time ago. And it's like, yeah, like when I was younger, I tended to have a lot of people in my life that I thought were my friends, but a lot of them are really just kind of using me. And out of my desire to be loved and accepted and have friends, I had a lot of people in my life that were just fucking assholes to me and that were in my life because of what they got from me. But as I got older and I learned to stand up for myself and I realized my own power and what I had, I stopped hanging out with those kinds of people and demanded that the people that were in my life through my actions treat me with respect. I mean, because people will treat you however you perceive yourself. And like for me, when I had a low self-esteem, I would allow people into my life and allow them to walk all over me just because that's what I was used to growing up. I was emotionally conditioned to think and feel that way. And the way that I overcame that stuff was obviously interacting with people in a customer service like when I was younger, and then eventually got into real estate, got into construction management, got into the mortgage business, and so you're doing nothing but dealing with people, whether on the phone or in person, and it's just over time I developed my skills that way. So when I started learning this stuff about how to create attraction and other things, it was easy for me to implement because I just needed to know what to do. I didn't have a problem talking to people so much because I had overcome that shyness that I had when I was really young. I just needed to know how to interact with people in ways that were socially appropriate and acceptable and that would create attraction. He says, they still affect me, but their abuse has disappeared after a very long time of slowly changing them on my own. Well, I salute you for having the courage to do that and take control of those relationships and decide that you weren't going to tolerate bullshit any longer. I mean, that's what I did with my family. Is I just let them know that in no uncertain terms I wasn't going to put up with the bullshit that I put up with in my childhood. He says, I compiled a list of things about me. I left nothing out. And would you tell me if someone I would actually be interested in me is based only on what they see? Well, nature's already taken care of attraction. But here's the important thing. Like, a woman will look at you and find you physically attractive, but if your body language and your physiology sucks, and then she starts talking to you, the tone of your voice, you're kind of talking almost like apologetically, like you don't deserve to be there, she's going to sense that weakness, and it's going to start to turn her off. But at the end of the day, attraction is not a choice. Women either find you visually appealing enough or they don't. And by applying the things that I teach, the women that perceive you at least as a 5 or better on a scale of 1 to 10, you can cause them over time to find you more and more attractive. But if it's a 4 and below, you ain't got a shot. And I go into extensive detail in my book about how to recognize the differences. He says, and maybe what they find out. Currently I go to a rock climbing gym and there's a beautiful woman. She's a few weeks new there. She has reddish hair, white skin, and a great body. And I could tell she likes me. And this one time this song started saying, talk to me. And she immediately swiveled around. She was sitting a few yards to me to the right and leaned right at me, but I tried to ignore her. That's all you got to do is like say, hey, what's up? How are you? If the girl likes you, she's going to make it easy to talk to you. She'll be like, hey, I'm doing great. He was like, hey, what's your name? Well, my name's Samantha. Hey, it's nice to meet you, Samantha. How long you been coming here for? It's real simple. You're like, you chat for a couple of minutes. You just say, hey, I got to run, but I'd definitely like maybe meet up with you for a drink sometime. When are you free to get together? Well, I'm open tomorrow, and I'm open Thursday, and I'm available Sunday. It's like, great. How about we meet at Sam Sneed's over on the water? It's on 123 Oak Street. Oh, I know that place. That place is really cool. It's like, awesome. How about we'll meet there at 8 o'clock on Thursday. If you get there first, get us a table. If I get there first, I'll get us a table. I got your number. Let me text you mine so you got it. If something comes up, I'll call you. Otherwise, I'll just see you there. Does that sound cool? Awesome. Great. You give her a hug? Awesome. I'll see you then. And that's all it took, was a couple of minutes to do that. She already likes you. Women make it easy for you when they like you. It's just like what Adam Carolla said. When women like you, it's like they start opening the doors, and all you got to do is walk through. But if the doors start shutting in your face, then you leave. They turn around, you walk away. But this girl's going out of her way. See, women will put themselves in your orbit, and she's just like, remember, women are designed to receive a man, right? So she's literally leaning in your direction and smiling, just waiting, hoping. When a woman looks at you and smiles, it means she's single and she's available. And if you're shy of talking to women, only talk to the women that smile at you and make eye contact. You'll almost never get rejected. Even if they do reject you, they'll still be nice to you and kind to you that you went and talked to them. So he says, I could have just gotten up and sat beside her and held her hands in mine and started asking, what's your name? Well, it's no need to go and do all that stuff, but touching her like that, you could. It's just all how you feel. If you feel comfortable doing that and you don't have any fear of doing it, then absolutely do that. The key is to do what feels natural to you. He says, this feels natural to me. It's what I feel compelled to do, but I don't do it. I don't exactly know why. Well, because you've never practiced it. And that's why I did a video a while back called Improving Your Social Skills, and I highly encourage you to do that and go to the mall and start talking to clerks and other people there and follow the process. I'm not going to get into it here because I did a whole video on that. But if you follow that and you go practice that and you get in the habit of saying hello to everybody and being friendly to everybody, then next time something like this happens, because you've practiced it and you've rehearsed it, just talking to people in general, it'll be really easy to create attraction and ask the girl out exactly like I just said a couple of minutes ago. He said, I think it's because she may see my weakness and I know that she has, whether I realize it or not. And I'm afraid of other people watching me, and what if I make a mistake and then suddenly they start thinking badly about me? Who gives a fuck? You want to fail. You want to get to the point so you can fail, because your fear of this moment is way worse than actually talking to this girl and asking her out and potentially getting rejected. At the end of the day, she's communicating she likes you just through her actions, so take advantage of it. He says, I'm not funny. I do laugh at movies like Borat, and it's not easy for me to laugh. I wasn't raised in that kind of environment. It was just work. I can't tell stories, and I don't know how or have that much to say. It's just that you haven't practiced this skill. That's part of your problem. He says, my mind is blank usually. That's why you should get in the habit of asking questions. Just like I talk about in my book. He says, it's probably because of depression and abuse, which is thankfully gone. He says, I can smile easily, but there's no one to smile with. He says, I'm extremely shy and not confident when it comes to interacting with people. I feel in danger, and I feel aggressive when around people who approach me. I smile and I have a submissive posture where I look at them at the side because I didn't think I would look really aggressive the way I look at people to walk around. I feel stuck in flight or fight. He says, I don't have a career, but I do have a job. But I don't have any education. I was in university, but because of depression, which I'm now free of for the past years of self-therapy, watching your videos, heavy hypnosis, affirmations, educational programs, usually from the PUAs, pickup artists, relationship field. He says, I have a voice disorder because of depression and anxiety. I lost so much energy that I couldn't even speak strongly anymore. Well, it's like me. It's like when I talk, you know, it's just because of the environment I grew up in. Sometimes people think, oh, that guy must be gay because of the way he talks. It's like, yeah, say that shit to my fucking face. And it's like, no, it's like, it's just who I am, and I'm not ashamed of it, and it's like, I don't fucking care. I mean, I can't help if the way I talk, I'm a recovering nice guy. You know, that's just the way I am. And some people might say, well, dude, you kind of sound effeminate. Like, well, I can't help it. It's the way I am. And women don't seem to mind my fucking voice because I've dated some pretty fucking awesome women in my life. But you got to let go of it. You got to let go of your care and your concern of what other people think about you. And like I said, what you really need to do is you got to practice. And the only way you're going to get better is with practice. If you'd like to get my help personally, go to my website and book a paid phone session. And I will talk to you soon.